Class 11th NCRT Transport in Plants. So, this is a plant physiology chapter. Transport in plants are that the plants are able to transport essential substance like water, minerals, nutrients through two main systems. The together xylem and phloem are called as vascular bundles. So, for short distance transfer, that is from a transfer of from cell to cell, it undergoes a process called as diffusion. Diffusion is the movement of molecules from the higher concentration to the side of lower concentration level. So there then they create a form of equilibrium where the particles in the higher concentration after getting transferred to the lower concentration part both becomes a similar in stage. So this can be by the process of diffusion and cytoplasmic streaming. So for long distance transfer of water and minerals we need xylem, and for transfer of food phloem. So water and minerals are traveled unidirectionally, that is from the root the water gets absorbed from the soil and it's transferred to the upper part of the plant, whereas the food materials are transferred in both direction, hence it is the bidirectional way. So it is by the help of phloem. Now if we observe what is facilitated diffusion, it is again a type of diffusion where there is no influence of inhibitors. When there is no influence of inhibitors, it is said to be diffusion, and when there is a presence of inhibitors, that is said to be the facilitated diffusion, that is it is influenced by the presence of inhibitors. So these are nothing but the membrane proteins or carrier proteins. So either they increase or decrease the movement of particles. Now if we observe, we can see that is three types of transfer port are available. One is symport where the particles are moved in the same direction. Antiport where one is traveled the opposite to the other direction. Uniport where only a single material is allowed for transport from one place to another. So if we observe here, we saw about the vascular bundles, that is xylem and phloem, where the xylem is the one which is absorbing water and minerals. The root has absorbed water and minerals from the soil. Xylem vessels, water and minerals travel upwards through xylem vessels. Then there is a concept called as transpirational pull where water evaporates from leaves creating a pull that draws water up. Next we observed the translocation process, that is the transfer of food particles with the help of phloem. So phloem is another vascular bundle. The leaves produce glucose, that is the food, through process of photosynthesis. This has to be transported to various paths, so this is bidirectional. Now if we observe, we can see what is active transport. So active transport is that it is the movement of substance against the gradient. So here there is use of energy, hence it is called as active transport. So you will be using pump like sodium and potassium pump. Now if we observe, there is a tabular column given, the property, the diffusion which is taking place, that is being mentioned in the tabular column. Now if we observe what are the plant water relationship, so here we can observe a symbol called as phi has been used. So the water potential, solute potential and pressure potential complex, these have a relation in between them. When the water potential is increased, directly the solute potential is also increased. Why? Because they have a directly proportional relationship. Now if we observe a concept called as osmosis, the movement of water molecules from higher water potential to water potential through semi-permeable membrane. Those membrane which allows only selectively permeable objects are said to be semi-permeable membrane. Now if we observe here, there is a concept called as exosmosis and endosmosis. So X, as the name suggests, it is from the inner part of the cell to the outside environment, whereas in case from the surrounding to inward of the cell, it is endosmosis. Then there is the concept of imbibition, when hydrophilic substances absorb water without getting dissolved. So this process is said to be imbibition. That is a diagram of our cell structure of a leaf or a plant. that is the outer layer epidermis. Here you can see there is a presence of root hair, so this is a part of root. Then comes the cortex, then comes endodermis and pericycle with all this vascular tissue, that is our xylem has been mentioned. So the Casparian strips, which is suberized in nature. So this particular structure is making us to enable the study of the movement of water in a root, that is the apoplastic fastest movement of a water molecule in a plant root. So now we can observe here the water present in the soil gets absorbed by the roots and it's transferred to the upper part, hence it is unidirectional, it is only traveling in a single direction. So this water and minerals get transported by the help of the vascular bundle named as xylem. Then if we can observe the stomata are nothing but the pores present which are responsible for the process of transpiration, and also it's useful in the process of photosynthesis too. Here the concept of turbidity and the factors responsible for the transpiration has been mentioned. The temperature, humidity, light and wind. These are the four important factors which are responsible for the transpiration process. So here you can observe the minerals which are ionic in form, say for example sodium ion, potassium ion. So they have active absorption from root hair. Active absorption means there is utilization of energy. So finally they reach all parts with the help of the xylem, because xylem has an ability to transfer the water and minerals bidirectionally. Then the mineral nutrition, that is nutrition can be of majorly two types. One is macro and another one is micro. Macro are those which are consumed in the larger amounts, whereas the micronutrients can be consumed in the smaller or trace amounts, minute amounts. Hydroponics is the technique. Hydroponics is the technique where we use a medium made up of water, that is hydro, in the absence of soil to grow various plants. So that's the technique of hydroponics. Then there is process of nitrogen fixation, ammonification, nitrification and denitrification. This can be explained with the help of formation of root nodules in legumes. So these legumes and root nodules, that is the rhizobium bacteria which forms root nodules on the leguminous plants, forms a kind of symbiotic relationship, that is it has a mutual benefit for each other. That is how they survive. So we can have a quick recap of that. So there is a plant which is a leguminous plant with some roots. So there is presence of nitrogen in the atmosphere. So nitrogen, which is having a triple bond, is difficult to be broken. To utilize by the plants, nitrogen has to be converted into its nitrate form. So the rhizobium bacteria which are present in the soil will help in the nitrogen fixation by forming root nodules on the leguminous plant. In return, they get food and shelter from the plant. So both getting benefited by this. Hence it is a kind of mutual relationship. So these are the four steps which are involved. We can observe there is the root hair, rhizobium bacteria. It's getting attached by forming an infection. This infection finally forms a nodule. A nodule like structure is formed. Inside that there are many rhizobium bacteria. So there finally fixes the nitrogen into its nitrate form, and the nitrate is being consumed by the leguminous plant. In return, they provide food, water and shelter to the rhizobium. Thereby they are having a kind of mutual relationship with each other. This is how they survive.